for what? Look at this, crashing into vehicles. 1, 2, 3 innocent motorists just dragging them along, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way. On either side of him, he's going to get into another head-on collision here. There it is, head-on collision into an SUV. We are seeing they've pulled dozens of, and you can see he is still straddling the double yellow lines, crashing into another vehicle.
Long Beach, California, in one of the most dangerous and destructive police pursuits in recent times. A man driving a stolen work truck erratically on freeways and major streets from downtown Los Angeles to Long Beach on Friday, March 28, 2025, striking several vehicles before crashing into a paint store parking lot and carelessly driving away from the scene. The chase began around 2:45 p.m. near Harbor Highway 110 and Adams Street, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. The truck was stolen from an auto body shop in South Los Angeles. The truck owner stopped the truck and entered the repair shop to collect money, but left the truck running in their parking lot. The suspect jumped behind the wheel and drove off. The driver navigated the surface roads, then onto southbound San Gabriel River Highway 605, striking numerous vehicles, at times exceeding 100 miles per hour. The suspect later made his way through the streets of Whittier, crossing medians, and striking numerous other vehicles as he veered wildly through traffic. He sometimes drove on the shoulder of a busy road, striking countless additional vehicles.
Or he has been going the wrong way. LAPD now trying to get this guy off the road. We'll see if it ends here on surface streets or what he decides to do. But now they've got more surface street traffic to contend with as they try and catch up with this runaway work truck. Again, only the driver in the front there as far as we are aware. Again, this is reported as a stolen vehicle. So a grand theft auto suspect behind the wheel here now with a little bit of empty roadway to play with. Still going to be very difficult. This is not the type of vehicle that's going to be very easy to pit by any means. In fact, most likely a pit maneuver probably not an option just from my vantage point, but you can see it is a flatbed truck that's going to be a little bit top heavy in any event, guys. Especially this time of the day in this type of traffic, and certainly if he continues at this rate on surface streets, we're going to start to see a little more of that pedestrian traffic. Now you can see he is just really looking to squeeze through, and we're seeing some really wild lane changes on top of it. And again, he has had no problem running through red lights, running through stop signs earlier on in this chase, and no problem traveling on the wrong side of the road. Even on the freeway when he was running into a traffic jam, he was just riding the shoulder as narrow as it was. And now look at, once again, really coming close to some of this other traffic here. Really could care less about the condition of this vehicle. Could care less about anybody else on the road here. Comes another red light right around traffic here. He's going through it, and he's continuing now eastbound on Whittier Boulevard, where there is stop-and-go traffic at various major intersections here, and it's going to cause a problem. Now you can see LAPD closing in on him. They are not giving this up easily at all. Let's go ahead and count them, Robbie. 1, 2, 3, 4 black and whites pursuing the suspect, and an LAPD helicopter right overhead calling it all. You can see him now continuing to slow down a little bit. We'll go ahead and put up our real-time speed tracker to get a more accurate reading here, and I think it's going to be right around, let's say, 50, 60 miles per hour, so just above the speed limit here on Whittier Boulevard. Well, we were told that it was flat. It looks like it's a little wobbly there, but it's a dually, and it looks to be behaving okay for the most part. So we were told that there might be a flat tire there, and it sure appears that there is some damage, but it doesn't really appear. Look at this. Oncoming lanes of traffic over the median, almost a head-on collision. Another wild move here. just jumping over that median without any regard here, squeezing through both lanes of traffic. This is getting crazy, and LAPD is going to have a serious decision to make here in very short order if this continues. This pursuit just took on a whole different profile. When you start seeing that kind of desperation behind the wheel here, he is in very, very real danger of getting somebody hurt, very seriously hurt. He is now traveling southbound on Washington Boulevard. Somebody crossing the street here, now going the wrong way. Light traffic here, but it just takes one wrong move, and he is going to hurt somebody. Look at this. Let's look up ahead here. Traffic coming right in his direction. Everybody swerving to their right. He is traveling on the inside lane, right over that median, and he's coming up on cross traffic. There comes a collision. Just made contact with cross traffic there and continuing right through Chatfield Avenue, southbound Washington Boulevard. A runaway driver here traveling at a very fast clip and traveling very recklessly through the streets of Whittier now as LAPD is pulling back a little bit. When we get a chance, we'll see just how far back they had to pull back because they were unable to keep up with him through some of those maneuvers. But the airship still overhead following this pursuit as he continues to jump over this median, comes up on a red light, and once again back on the wrong side of the road. That could have been so much worse. Yeah, that was a really close call there. Here comes another close call. I mean, he's going through every single red light, barely slowing down. We're not seeing a lot of hard braking here. He's just running for it, gunning through these intersections, and when he sees any sign of traffic in his way, here comes another patrol car going the opposite direction. He just goes right around it without any regard for the traffic coming towards him or without any regard for anybody else's safety for that matter. He really is running like a madman through the streets here, now getting back on the freeway from the westbound side of Whittier Boulevard. And that's going to put him, we're going to be back on the 605 southbound. 605 southbound now from Washington Boulevard. No, he jumped right over that gore point, over the curb there, and you could see why this vehicle may have run a flat tire there. It's just a kind of a remarkable that it's in as good a shape as it is, the way he's driving it. But it is a heavy-duty work truck. Again, dualies in the back there, and you know, just an overall sturdy vehicle that's capable of this kind of driving, but not for long if he keeps this up. Fortunately, this is the exact place you would prefer to see this kind of driving on the freeway. Really takes the risk, some of the risk off the table when he gets off surface streets. When you see somebody who is just that dangerous and that unpredictable, there's just no better place than the freeway. Although at this time of the day, you can see just how much traffic, how many innocent motorists there are even on the freeway here who are now in danger, and without anybody right behind them, they don't even hear those sirens to let them know that there is a dangerous driver in their vicinity. So hopefully they'll be able to catch up with them here. Maybe CHP will take this over, but LAPD right now trying to get back on the freeway. And my concern is that now that he's on the freeway, you see all this traffic, he's going to start to get a little restless. That's just the pattern that these guys tend to show when they get boxed in here. And if he gets boxed in, he's either going to get off the freeway, but he's right now pretty committed to that left lane. And if he gets boxed in and can't get over, you're going to see him resort to some desperate measures here, and we just don't know what this person is capable of. It just seems unlikely, based on what we're seeing here, it just feels unlikely that he's going to suddenly give up. Certainly that's what we hope he will do. He will just peacefully surrender, but that just doesn't appear to be in the cards for this guy, at least not anytime soon. The good news is there is a patrol car right behind him. We'll go ahead and confirm if that is LAPD. I believe it is LAPD. It is LAPD that has now caught up with him on the freeway here, one patrol car, that primary unit, a secondary supervisor, and then you can see at least one or two others behind him. So we've got that work truck now slowing down with traffic in the HOV lane as he travels southbound on the 605 freeway. Yeah, at one point this was almost a slow-speed pursuit, but it has really escalated since then, and there has been a lot of reckless driving even before we picked it up, where he was traveling on the wrong side of the road, and just in the last few minutes we have seen more of that really reckless behavior, just pure desperation to put any kind of distance between him and those primary units behind him, and it hasn't really worked, which means he is agitated, he's desperate, and he's resorting to even more dangerous measures. Again, the only semblance of good news here is that he is on the freeway where there is no pedestrian traffic, thankfully, because you saw as we were making our way down Whittier Boulevard and then down to Washington Boulevard, there were people crossing the street. There were just so many other factors and variables at play. It just makes it even that much more dangerous for law enforcement to continue the pursuit. But at the rate he's going, they have the luxury now of just kind of waiting him out. If he sticks with that number one lane there, that HOV lane, and stays on the freeway, that'll, at least burn off a little more gas and give them some more options, hopefully. But as we've already discussed, a pit maneuver in this environment is really off the table. A spike strip is going to be very, very difficult to plan with a guy like this, and also have limited effect on a vehicle like this. So right there, you've got two main tactics that are pretty much off the table if and when this guy even begins to slow down. Right now, he's doing about freeway speeds with traffic on the southbound side of the 605 freeway, where traffic is starting to open up a little bit on the southbound side. Northbound traffic, very heavy on the 605. Southbound traffic starting to improve for him, where there is much less volume. We'll see how far south he takes it, or if he decides to get off of the freeway. He does have a decision to make here in just another minute or so. That's going to be the 91 freeway, I believe. A couple less, I believe. You see the primary unit, a secondary unit, and I think it's just those two right now that we're able to catch up on the freeway. So right now, two black and whites behind him as he bypasses the 105 freeway. Passing the 105, next stop is the 91 freeway here on the 605. Well, despite everything that we've seen here, this has now taken on a little bit of a more comforting posture for these officers. They can easily keep up with him on the freeway, and that's most likely what they will do unless they hand this off to California Highway Patrol. Over 100 miles per hour, Colleen. Look at this. Yeah, we've already seen with our own eyes at least one collision. We've seen several close calls. We know that the vehicle has been damaged earlier on in this pursuit. Some questionable condition of the right rear wheel or tires, but the vehicle still traveling fairly nominally, especially considering these speeds. Just in the last couple of minutes, guys, he has now really amped things up over 100 miles per hour on the southbound side of the 605 freeway, and the LAPD has been put in a position where they have really put a little bit of distance between themselves and that vehicle. There's only one unit now following this truck, and even he has pulled back a little bit. It's just become a bit too dangerous and a bit too fast that they've been forced to put this into tracking mode for the time being. This thing is like a missile right now, even on the freeway. In fact, especially on the freeway where he's doing 85 miles per hour at the moment, almost 90 miles per hour. That thing is a moving missile down the freeway at the way he's driving, the way he is behaving behind the wheel here, and so unpredictable. Look at that, really close. Look at that, changing lanes and just squeezing between those two cars. See, it's moves like that that are going to get somebody severely hurt here, even on the freeway where it really is preferential, but even LAPD not comfortable with these conditions, forced to back off a little bit, putting this in tracking mode, but the driving has not changed. The hope when they put it in tracking mode is that it takes the temperature off the driver and takes a little bit of pressure off of his posture, and right now it's just not having that effect. Right now he is driving as dangerously as ever. He's slowing down with traffic here and there, but he is no problem pushing the pedal to the metal. And now California Highway Patrol with their Chargers or interceptors, I should say, getting ready to take over this pursuit. Take a look at that unit right there. That's California Highway Patrol on the right, now crossing over into the HOV lane here momentarily to potentially take over this pursuit as he continues southbound on the 605. Exactly. The minute he saw him in his rearview mirror, he just pushed the pedal to the metal once again, doing over 100 miles per hour in that truck. That is a very heavy vehicle to be traveling at that speed, but yet California Highway Patrol now putting fresh pressure with a fresh pair of eyes on this suspect, closing in on him as he makes his way southbound towards the 405. This is going to be the end of the road for him on the 605, and he's not showing any signs of getting off. In fact, I don't think there are even any more exits to get off at. So now he's going to either go north or south on the 405 freeway. And while he's had the luxury of light traffic on the 605, I don't have to tell you, Mark and Colleen, traffic on the 405 here in, what is it going to be, at Seal Beach, the Seal Beach area, is not going to be very friendly for him. And so we'll see if he sticks with the freeway or decides to get off. But look at the way he's already getting over to the right side here. But let's see what he decides to do here. But just another second ago, you saw that another close call. That's right, and that goes right to Colleen's point, where at the very least, there's the saving grace of law enforcement behind him, and those lights and sirens really provide a public service. Aside from trying to stop this crazy person behind the wheel here, those lights and sirens are alerting everybody that there is police activity coming their way, and so it's important to have that tool, especially when there are so many innocent motorists in the vicinity like there are right here in the middle of rush hour, coming up on rush hour at least, here on the 605. We will see. It looks like he is taking the southbound side. Well, too early to say. I think he's going to take the south. No? Hugging the right there. That right lane may put him on the northbound side. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see where this transition takes him. He's getting off, I think, off of the southbound side and onto the 405 north. Westbound 22 freeway. So this is going to put him on the 22, westbound 22, and then heading towards Long Beach. Exactly right. It sure is. Right here. In fact, it's going to end right here. And as I look off the nose here, we are back on city streets where traffic is going to start to increase. Volume's increasing already as he approaches a red light. And now we're going to start to, look at this. He's going to start losing control of the vehicle, a little bit of fishtailing as he tried to navigate this little traffic jam here at a red light over the median, now going the wrong way once again. Going the wrong way on Surface Street once again, around all of that traffic, swerving all the way to the right shoulder here, and he's really having trouble dealing with this vehicle now. If he continues at these speeds, just hit the wall, hitting the wall, crashing into other vehicles. He made contact there with a work truck, a box truck. It looked like he touched it and is already starting to lose part of that flatbread. Look at this, over the curb, over the median, and just, I mean, this for what? Look at this, crashing into vehicles. 1, 2, 3 innocent motorists, just dragging them along through the intersection at Bellflower Boulevard, passing through Bellflower on 7th Street, going the wrong way again. He has no regard for any of this oncoming traffic, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way. Still not slowing down. Lost his tire, Colleen. He's just lost that front left tire. He's now running on the rim here. Heavy damage on that front of that vehicle, with very, very heavy damage on the front end of that vehicle, and that tire is pretty much gone. So at least the front left tire. Oh no. It's not only is it not going to hold, look at this, he's squeezing through everybody coming in his direction. They're all swerving on either side of him. He's going to he's going to get into another head-on collision here. There it is, head-on collision into an SUV. We are seeing dozens of vehicles damaged in this pursuit, and that was probably one of the most serious right there. Just ran right into the front of that SUV. CHP has given this up. They have now created distance. They are now putting this back in tracking mode for the time being. They have pulled back, and you can see he is still straddling the double yellow lines, crashing into another vehicle. That flatbed is made of steel that is just doing tremendous damage with very little damage to the vehicle other than the front end damage that we're already seeing there. But what we were saying, Mark, is that front left, oh no, there it is! There it is! 2 vehicles into cross traffic, a major collision into the front of a paint store at the strip mall at 7th Street and Termino Avenue, ramming right through those two vehicles, the driver stepping out of the vehicle and now walking away from the crash scene. That driver now walking away from the crash scene, two major crashes there, and now he's walking up the sidewalk. CHP is close by, the Sheriff's Department is close by. Long Beach police are likely on their way over here, and hopefully somebody will be able to get this person off of the sidewalk. Right now there are numerous casualties here. Look at the condition of that vehicle. We're going to try and keep an eye on the suspect and also those vehicles as well. We're going to stick with the driver here as he walks up the block here around the strip mall off of 7th Street onto Miramar Avenue. We know that law enforcement is watching our feed right now. We want to stick with the driver as he continues this stroll away from the crash scene. It ended about as badly as we were thinking it might. There were dozens of crashes there. At the very end of this pursuit, he went right through all of that traffic, ramming into everybody in his way, right through red lights, into cross traffic, eventually losing control of the vehicle because of that tire. He was unable to retain control of that vehicle, Mark, just like we were talking about. And he went right into the front of that strip mall. This is Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street in East Long Beach. No, it's LAPD. LAPD taking the suspect down. We're going to come around. Let's come around the tree. Let's come around the tree. And it looks like LAPD has taken this suspect down to the ground on the sidewalk there at Miramar Avenue, just off of 7th Street. Numerous officers, as we come around this tree, now taking that suspect into custody. Absolutely. He's still putting up a struggle. They're trying to get this guy into handcuffs. He is fighting a bit. Can't see what's happening underneath that tackle there, but you can see that they are having a little bit of a hard time as this suspect appears to be resisting slightly here. Very difficult to tell from this angle, but it's all happening right here along Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street here in East Long Beach. We're going to stick with this shot. Momentarily, we will go back to the crash scene where it did appear at least one of those vehicles, as you mentioned, Colleen, was very heavily damaged, especially the front seats. The driver and passenger seat appeared to be smashed in, and that was just a really high-speed crash here. Looks like they've got this situation under control. Let's take it over to the intersection. Let's take it. Yeah.
As he headed toward Long Beach, the driver became more frantic, speeding wildly down the busy roadway, leaving several vehicles with minor damage. However, as traffic stopped at an intersection, the suspect rammed the work truck into the rear of at least 3 vehicles, cutting through the wreckage. Despite a punctured front tire, the suspect continued to speed, struggling to maintain control, and struck more vehicles before crashing into the roadway. He eventually collided with an SUV and a pickup truck while running a red light. The force of the collision caused the work truck to roll into the parking lot of a Sherwin-Williams paint store, where it came to a stop against a concrete barrier near the front door. The suspect then exited the truck and began shuffling away from the scene. He appeared to have walked several blocks before Los Angeles Police Department officers caught up with him and wrestled him to the ground. Approximately a dozen officers responded to the scene and struggled to apprehend the man. At least one officer was injured during the altercation and later transported from the scene by ambulance. Long Beach paramedics also treated the driver of the SUV the suspect violently struck at the end of the chase and transported him to a hospital in unknown condition. Paramedics were also seen treating the suspect at the scene for unknown injuries. A dangerous chase for a stolen truck from Simi Valley to Santa Monica. The chase began in Simi Valley and quickly entered West Los Angeles despite heavy afternoon traffic. Simi Valley Police said the agency initiated a pursuit on Highway 118 after receiving a report of a stolen vehicle in the area of Tabo Canyon Road and Alamo Street.
Yeah, you're right, and that busy nature is really scaring me. Look at all of the innocent motorists here as he swerves over those double yellow lines and oncoming lanes of traffic briefly just to get around anybody in his way here and just to put any kind of distance between him and those pursuing units at that red light there. Those units had a lot of time to come up right behind him and catch up, and now he's continuing very fast speeds down Santa Monica Boulevard, going westbound on Santa Monica Boulevard at a high rate of speed, well over the speed limit here, and he is changing lanes very, very erratically in what is a very heavy vehicle, and you're going to start seeing a little more pedestrian traffic here. There's a skateboarder crossing the street, and look at this Simi Valley unit coming up right behind him in the middle of this heavy traffic here on Santa Monica Boulevard. No position for a pit maneuver there, but it almost looked like he was going to give it a shot, or at least maybe come up right behind him. That was really, really close, and look at him picking up speed after that maneuver there. So he is desperate to get away from that primary unit who had no problem pulling up right behind him there. I really thought he was almost going to make contact there. Really, really, really aggressive, an aggressive tactic there, an aggressive driver behind the wheel of this vehicle right through a red light there. Lots of cross traffic, squeezing his way through, threading the needle at every chance he gets here to put any kind of distance, but he is not going anywhere fast. Those units are still right behind him as he does about 60 miles per hour down Santa Monica Boulevard. Very aggressive, but a good reminder that this is a different agency. We are not used to, those Ventura County agencies, believe me, have very different tactics and sometimes are often more aggressive than what we are used to seeing in this part of West LA. I will tell you that. But westbound Santa Monica Boulevard continuing to swerve around traffic here. And watch as he does it right through another red light here. Every time right through the red light, and every time he twists that wheel, you could see the vehicle wobble just a little bit. There's such sharp turns and erratic maneuvers that he is really showing the limits of this work truck. It is certainly a heavy-duty work truck, but, you know, it is a top-heavy vehicle, and it just doesn't behave well with that kind of driving. Yep. If Santa Monica gets involved in any way here, but after all of that time on the freeway, California Highway Patrol was never able to take it over, and now he's continuing these erratic moves now northbound on 11th Street. Northbound 11th from Boulevard, and we have now, let's count them real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4 Simi Valley units, and now an LAPD helicopter overhead here, helping out here, making a left turn on Arizona off of 11th Street, continuing westbound at a high rate of speed, coming up on 10th and then 9th, more pedestrian traffic here, and you're going to see that increase the closer we get to the beach. He is heading straight towards the ocean, and there is lots of pedestrian traffic at this time of the day as he comes up on more cross traffic, running every single red light, Mark and Colleen. The tension here is through the roof. Down there and up here in the helicopter. I am very nervous about this one, guys. That's southbound Arizona, or southbound 7th Street from Arizona, now back on Santa Monica Boulevard. We'll see if he takes the boulevard right through Santa Monica Boulevard, continuing southbound 7th here, heading towards the 3rd Street Promenade. LAPD with their airship right overhead. If they do have to pull off, at least they've got the helicopter to call out the position there, and then they can move local units into the area once this pursuit comes to an end, if it just gets too dangerous. Now he's in the bike lane, using that bike lane here on Broadway at 5th Street. More pedestrians. Look at this, people running out of the way, continuing westbound on Broadway now, past 4th Street, through another red light. Look at all the people here, guys. This is so dangerous. Coming up on the promenade, coming up on the 3rd Street promenade, or one more block. He's at the promenade. Lots of pedestrian traffic, people running in all different directions, as he is now only 2 blocks from the beach. He will be forced to get onto Ocean or PCH here in just a second. More pedestrians. Lots of cross traffic. Sorry, guys. There's a dog there. Simi Valley continuing this pursuit. You have to wonder, we have to wonder at this point what this driver is wanted for, because there's going to be a whole lot of questions here in a second. We are in the busiest part of Santa Monica, right by the Santa Monica Pier, guys, as he continues now southbound on Ocean Avenue, one of the most heavily dense areas of the city and one of the most populated with tourists, as he now makes a wild left turn past a construction vehicle here on Olympic, off of Ocean, and now continuing now in the opposite direction, going now eastbound away from the beach and going the wrong way now on Olympic. Taking the freeway. That's the on-ramp, and that'll put him on the 10 freeway here, I think. Oh, collision there, sideswiping an innocent vehicle, and he keeps on going. Sideswiping that vehicle, keeps on going. Simi Valley right behind him once again in hot pursuit here. That was not the entrance He ended up bypassing the entrance and is now still on surface streets. Continuing on surface streets down Olympic Boulevard here, again missing another opportunity. That was another entrance ramp that he just missed. This would be a better spot for a pit maneuver if that go-ahead has been given here, but he is now crossing over the 10 freeway, going northbound 11th, and it does look by my eye that that primary unit is going to attempt a dangerous pit maneuver with a top-heavy vehicle. Those are also usually deterred, but in this case, they are a little bit desperate here to get this person off the road as safely as possible, but they are, again, dealing with a lot of extraneous circumstances here, with the potential for collateral damage almost everywhere you look here in the heart of downtown Santa Monica, paralleling the train tracks here, doing about 60 miles per hour down Colorado and going back towards the beach. Because again, he's going westbound now. He's done a full circle through this part of Santa Monica, and Simi Valley is still right behind him here. Almost showed signs of a pit maneuver. They didn't quite have the opportunity there, and now he's just another block or two, about 5 blocks, I would say, from the beach. He's getting out, dumping the vehicle, ramming into more cars. The driver out of the vehicle, he's running for it. One driver now on foot after crashing into a bunch of cars there. A chain reaction crash there as he continues running down Colorado Avenue at Main Street towards the beach. Now coming to, it looks like he's behind this building here, and there he is. He's still on foot. He's running like heck to get away from that unit. There are going to be a number of units closing in on him at any second here as he continues crossing through traffic here, running as fast as he can, again heading straight through onto the Santa Monica Pier. He is now at the Santa Monica Pier, going around a barricade here, and now running onto the pier. Santa Monica police are here. Simi Valley police are here. He is now giving up, proned out at the Santa Monica Pier, tasers out, and this one coming to the best end possible. We can hope that everybody in that crash was okay, but now you have police with the suspect at taser point, his hands behind his back, and the chase is over But man, that was about as heart-pounding as it gets, especially with all of that pedestrian traffic here in downtown Santa Monica. Just unbelievable stuff. A lot of damage, absolutely. Sideswiped somebody there as he was paralleling the 10 freeway, and then when he finally was showing signs of jumping out of the vehicle, he basically rammed into a bunch of people stopped at a red light. They crashed into each other. They're going to have a little bit of whiplash, but I think those should be minor injuries just based on from what I saw there. But now they have the suspect in custody. He is being taken off of the pier, and these tourists are in for quite a show here. I mean, this is a bit more than they bargained for today, but thankfully nobody else is hurt here. This could have been so much more dangerous because that vehicle is a very dangerous, very heavy vehicle, and he was running through every single red light in Santa Monica. Right pedal, Ryan. You here? Look at that. And right where it ended, look at that. Those three cars stopped at the red light, bicyclists everywhere, bike paths everywhere, pedestrians, tourists, train tracks. I mean, this is about the most dangerous spot for a chase like this to end, and thankfully it was not worse. We just have to be very thankful that this didn't end any other way, and he finally just jumped out of the vehicle. But the way he was driving and the way he was being pursued by Simi Valley, it's going to be so interesting when we find out what this person was wanted for and what led to this dangerous and reckless pursuit. Really aggressive by all parties here, but obviously there was certainly, most likely, some very good reason for it because he is finally being taken off the streets for some unknown reason, which we will find out. But man, you've got to wonder what it was. Yeah, and we came really close. I think we came really close to almost seeing one or two pit maneuvers. I think the go-ahead was given there because they were certainly positioning for a pit maneuver, and there was at one point they actually might have even had an opportunity on an empty stretch of Olympic Boulevard. But in any event, they weren't quite able to execute that for safety reasons. And now you can see the damage left behind here. That work truck, which you have to wonder whether it even belongs to him or whether the truck itself is stolen.
He eventually exited Highway 405 onto major streets and sped through other vehicles in the Santa Monica area. At one point, the truck struck a car and nearly struck pedestrians crossing the street. The chase ended when the wanted driver rear-ended a car on a busy street and exited the truck. He attempted to flee from police, but quickly surrendered at the Santa Monica Pier without incident. Witnesses recorded on their cell phones the moment two police officers placed the suspect in handcuffs. The stolen vehicle belonged to World Appliances Heating and Air Conditioning in Santa Clarita.